Welcome to my fish room. This fish room is 13 by 17 foot, so it's not real big, and we'll start here as we enter the door to about a 20-gallon hexagon, and I've got some small angelfish growing up in that tank right now. Some of these I'll probably keep for breeding purposes later. Just got a few of them in here. Didn't want to overcrowd those. And then we'll take a look at the wall here, and we'll start and go across the top. Pardon the glare. We'll see if it makes it better if I turn some lights on. Didn't seem to have much of an effect on it. These are 20 gallons in the top here. This one here is full of green lantern platies, and I had a large colony and I sold the colony down, so now I'm just getting it going again. Next tank over is my lyre-tail swords, and I've got some dither fish in there. I've got a few tetras. I got some black neons, and I also have some Von Rio tetras in here too. And notice these tanks, you'll see I've got some live planted situations here. So next 20 has water wisteria, also one of my Dumbo-eared Bettas that I raised in last year, one of my males. And then I've got some double black gene angels I'm raising up in here, and some Stave Cory Catfish. And then I also raise these gold mystery snails. And some Plecos in here too, but they're not coming out right now. I've got some Bristle Plecos that are in most of these tanks. Here's another 20 tall. These I raised from a hatch last year. These are black phantom tetras, and I like them. It's a tank with just them and some Coriodoris, some albino Anus albinos, and those are, I think, the original pair in there that I spawned, and I think I got 3 spawns out of them, and then I've got them scattered around in a lot of the tanks also. Now we'll drop down to the next row, and I've got the end cap 20s, or 10s, they're on the end. And this one here, the date there is when I do my last water change. These are Thailand Red Dragon Half Moon Dumbos. And there's a bunch of fry in there. The male died in shipment, but the female had this 23 fry in here. And there's another one over here, another female. I separated them because they weren't getting along very good together. I don't know which one was the parent, or both of them, possibly. And it won't be long. Those are about a month and a half old. It won't be long that there'll be a male to join the females there. And then down below that is another set of 10s setting endways. This one here, I've got some of my grow out angelfish in. And then this one over here has got a strain of half black Guppies that I've had this strain probably for 10 or 12 years. And I've just let them go to town in there. You can see the little fry, and you can see some of the older ones. Then we'll move back up over here, and then next to those I have 20 longs. These 20 longs have black Moscow Guppies in them. And the original trio that I had has since passed, so now I'm just raising up some fry. And I've got another tank with some smaller fry in it to raise them up. There's 25 or 6 in there, so there'll be a colony of those eventually. Next to that is another 20 long, and this one here has my red albino Guppies in here. And these are the females are the original trio that I bought, but the little males you see there were raised here in the fish room. And there's about 2 or 3 patches in here, and I think the females, if I can get them to show up here, there's one right up front. They're gonna have babies again. So that's a colony started there of the albinos. Over here is another 10-gallon end cap, and this one here has the aquamarine blue, big dorsal fry from Thailand. I started with a male and a female. One of the females died in shipment or shortly after, and then I got these moved over to me, and within a week the male died. So I was just fortunate. The female was already hit, and this is one hatch, and to my guess there's nearly 50 fry in here. And these again came from Thailand. And over here we have a tank that I use for little guppies, but these all in here are the black Moscows at this particular time, and I separated them just to get them a little faster growth. And that's a 10 end cap also. And then down below is another 10 end cap, and these are the Thailand red lace half thumb dorsal guppies. And they're about ready to have babies again too. And there's 3 hatches in here, different size. Next to that is an empty tank ready for something to go in there. I had a female guppy in there, but I took her out and put her in back where she came from, and so I'll probably move the hatchery. I don't use that very often. Next to that is a 20-gallon long, and these are Thailand guppies also, and these are Thai platinum silver ivory tuxedo mosaic half moon dorsals, and the females both passed, but they had quite a few fry, and you can see the little ones are coming up now. And these are the young fry here. Right now I've got more males than females. The females have a big dark tail, and the males get quite a dorsal. And actually the original male is over here, and he's looked better. He's past his prime, no doubt. There he is. He was gorgeous when he was a little younger, but he's getting to his age. Next to that, I have another 20-gallon long. And this one here has some Thailand guppies in it also. These are Thailand gold black lace, half thumb dorsal. And there's oodles of them in there. I've got all 3 of the trio. They're still producing young. You can see the females there. There's a young male. I don't know where the original male's at. Let's see if I can find him in here before I move on. Then you can see I have some bristle nose albinos that I raised up. These were born the first of the year, and we're getting some pretty good size to them right now. This is a male, I think, in here. I think I've seen one male. They're already starting to show the bristles. I don't know where my male's at in here. He's too many hiding places, but that makes successful. So now that's everything on that wall. We'll go over here to the next wall. These are all 29s. There's a 30 in here too, I should say, but there's 6 of them on this wall. Darrell and Angelfish. Down below I use these as spawning tanks. They're split. They're 29 split in half, but right now I'm using them for grow out tanks. I usually breed angels in them. So I've got some grow out angels in here too. Next to that is my 30 long, which I'll put around here and back off. These are my Gouramis. These are this is the second spawn of pearl Gouramis. The first spawn are all gone. And then I also raised those cherry barbs you see in there. Those are all young that are raised here in the fish room. And I accidentally raised tiger barbs too, and I've only got 2 left. There's 2 tiger barbs, and the rest of them people picked up. And then down below that is another 29-gallon tank with grow out koi blushings. You can see I've got a lot of wisteria, and I also have some Taiwan moss in most of these tanks too. Next to that Down on the lower level is another split tank that I use for breeding angelfish, and these have the double black gene angelfish in it. And above there is some more grow out, a little bit of variety in there. I kind of sort them by size. This is another 29, and that's everything on that wall. Then I have a center aisle. In the center aisle I have on the end cap here 3 tins with grow out angelfish. Tank 1 on the top, tank 2 in the middle with grow out angelfish, and tank 3 on the bottom with grow out angelfish also. And then moving around the island, I have my saltwater reef. And that is a 70-gallon tall. And the rocks in here started with me in 1991, so some of the invertebrate in here are that old. And then moving around to the other end cap, on the other end is another grow out tank, a 29. There's my female breeder beta that I raised from the juvie, from eggs in the fish room, and another. These are my smallest gouramis. They didn't grow quite as fast, so I've sorted them out, and these are just a little bit behind. And you can see some of my albinos I raised. You can also see in this tank I have my Colombian high fin, or excuse me, Colombian ramhorn snails, and I've had those for 10, 15 years also, and I raised those, and I've moved a lot of them. And down below here I've got a 10-gallon tank. That female is the blue female that I showed you that had the 50 babies. Oh, she's had babies again. There they are. They're just loaded in there. I didn't realize she was going to have them. That's pretty early because it hasn't even been a month. So I'll move her out today and I'll put her in another tank. And I also have in there, looks like she had another big batch. I also have in there a second spawn, or second hatch of lyre-tail swordtails. You can see them in there. They're a little smaller, and apparently they're not going to bother the little guppies either. So moving away from there, I'll do 180 degrees, and we'll come onto the other wall where I have 2 55-gallon show tanks, and these are my future breeder boys, and there is some smokies in here too, but these, and then you can see those are my swordtails I was talking about. The lyre-tail, the ones that were, they're all half lyre-tail, but they didn't all show the trait lyre-tail. The one that did is the one that had the babies, and she's throwing some that have babies too. There's a male that I believe is probably could be a father. I trimmed his gonopodium, so he could still use it, and I think he has been, but he's, you know, he started the tank at about 6 or 7, and now I'm down to 3. But they're a little old, and I'm tickled to death. I've got a couple of hatches out of them. So, and then next to that is my grow out tank, and these are some of the angels that I picked up at the swap last year from Mike, and they're the German blushings and some blushing smokies, and then I picked up a few other ones I picked to match with them, and these are super veils. There's 3 of them in there, so hopefully, you know, the super veils are a little younger, and hopefully they'll get a spawn out of them. And then these are some of my blacks that I raised, that I'm growing these up for breeders. And then this is the dad of all the blacks that I have, and he's been a little hard on females, so there's about 3 females that he's went through, and they haven't survived. And there's another fish in here that might be a female, and nothing. I got some slates in here, but nothing has spawned lately. Up here above is where I raise my brine shrimp. Currently I'm not doing any brine shrimp, and in the little container to the side is my microworms, which I have used on some of these egg layers. some of my fish foods. And then over here I've got a 29. And again, it's full of angelfish grow out. So then we'll move over here. Got some tanks that I use. These are little 2-3 gallon tanks. This is a 5 or 7 gallon tank that are empty right at the moment, but I use them for breeding bettas and raising out angelfish. There's some more blacks. This is the second hatch of the blacks. I've separated them in 3 different 10 gallon tanks. They probably need to go to another bigger tank. There's about 20 to 25 in each tank, but I don't have any place to go with them until after the swap. Here's some more double blacks. And here's the third tank with double blacks, and you also see some Taiwan moss in here. And the third one's got some Taiwan moss and again some grow out kois. Down below that is my Thai Platinum Dumbo Red Mosaic Guppies. These I got earlier, and as you can see, there are going to be some of those that are going to go to the swap because I have got the colony established. And they're Dumbos. So there's one of the females and one of the originals. There's one of the, I think that's a juvenile, but there's some original males in here too. But I got lots of them. Over here again is some grow out angelfish and another 29. Over here is another 29, which is with a colony of purple Moscow guppies. And that colony is very established at this particular time. Down below is 55 show tank, and this 55 has got the mass of my Gouramis that are in the grow out tank and ready to go. And then next to them, the last tank that I'm going to show you today, it's the only one left in the fish room, is a grow out 55 show loaded up with bigger than quarter size angelfish. And the wisteria is going crazy, but it seems to be favorable for the fish. One more tank I forgot to show you. I better pull around on the other side of the island over here. And I have a planted tank on CO2 with my angelfish that I have yet to spawn because they're a little young. But I got some platinum blues, Filipinos, and then one lone fish left, John Baines, which I wasn't successful in spawning, but he's a male. So he had eggs, the eggs hatched, but the fish were not very hardy because it was their first spawn. But soon I'll have, maybe he'll spawn with one of the platinums. And then I've got some Congo Tetras in here that I have yet to spawn yet, but they're getting to that age. Again, I need a little tank space before I can get a whole lot of this accomplished. And I don't have a lot of room in the hallway here to get back any farther. I can't really get an overview of the full tank, but quite a colorful tank. And that's all for today.